When a fresh resident learned from the HOA leader that he lacked ownership of his very own lakefront, he brandished evidence that not just stunned the locals but demolished her dominance forever. "Can you seriously believe a single individual possesses a lake?" That was the initial remark Elaine Porter directed at him, no greeting, no cordial arrival to the area, merely that pointed inquiry hurled forth as if it were a gauntlet. And right then, Anthony McAllister grasped that his ideal residence was poised to bring along a dreadful complication. Anthony, at age 42, served as a mechanical designer who had climbed the ranks within a drafting company in Columbus, Ohio. Following endless urban clamor, relentless due dates, and cramped condo existence, he at last possessed the funds to acquire the sort of dwelling he had long envisioned. He discovered it along Lake Keowee in South Carolina, a serene expanse of liquid bordered by piers and encircled by lofty evergreens. The dwelling proper wasn't opulent, merely a robust duplex-level structure boasting a veranda overlooking the waves. Yet to him, it represented heaven. He pulled up hauling cartons, a rental trailer, and his sibling's aging golden retriever named Max. While offloading the vehicle, he repeatedly gazed toward the water, absorbing its beauty. The surface gleamed akin to a mirror, the piers extended serenely toward the horizon. He mused, "This belongs to me. I've truly arrived." Then Elaine appeared. She approached from her abode opposite the loop, statuesque and slender, clad in a light-hued sweater even amid the warmth, her tresses drawn rearward with such force it seemed to strain. She clutched a notepad, the variety one totes solely when intent on jotting flaws in others. "You're Anthony." "Correct," she queried, bypassing any pause for his response prior to proceeding. "I'm Elaine Porter, HOA chairperson. We ought to discuss the water." Anthony lowered the crate he held. "The water?" "Indeed," she replied briskly, as if self-evident. "It pertains to the collective. All residents utilize it. We'll require your endorsement to guarantee passage." He paused, stunned. "Hold on, what?" "The water accompanied the lot, and the contract encompassed the piers," Elaine's grin strained, resembling a sneer more than mirth. "That's irrelevant locally. We've long overseen entry. It's custom." Such was his debut, no baked dish, no clasp of hands, purely an edict. Anthony, striving for civility, brushed his palms against his trousers. "Listen, I'm merely unpacking. We can converse afterward." Her stare sharpened. "The earlier you endorse, the preferable, else, matters turn thorny." And thus she departed, notepad secured beneath her limb, strides crisp and swift. Anthony lingered in the drive, the waning daylight warming his back, pondering her declaration, thorny. He'd resided here scarcely 4 hours, how had snags emerged so swiftly? That dusk, perched on the veranda consuming fast food, Max lounged by his boots. He observed youngsters pedaling furiously along the roadway. A pair hailed him, he returned the gesture. A pair of homes distant inclined his head in salutation. Briefly, it seemed ordinary, secure. Yet her phrase echoed relentlessly, "Can you seriously believe a single individual possesses a lake?" That evening, Anthony retrieved the dossier of forms he'd inked at settlement. He pored over the files, scrutinizing each clause anew. There lay the clarity, water entry privileges, solitary piers, lot boundaries reaching the depths. He fabricated none of it, no. Bewilderment clouded his mind, it stood lawful, and it was his. Nonetheless, a doubt lingered. Why did she cling to the contrary? Mere hubris? Domination? Or lurked a profounder intrigue within this enclave he had yet to uncover? The subsequent dawn, while nursing brew beside the waves, a gentleman in his 60s ambled past, rod dangling. He doffed his hat. The fresh arrival. Anthony beamed. Affirmative, Anthony McAllister. Don Harris, the elder responded, gesturing uphill to a azure dwelling. Prime location you've snagged, tranquil, save when the HOA rouses. Anthony arched a brow. Amusing timing, Elaine visited yesterday, yapping of the water. Don guffawed, though without warmth. Naturally. That lady views the globe as her turf. You'll witness. Anthony scowled. She claimed the water's communal, yet the contract contradicts. Don rested on his rod. She's peddled that tale for ages. Residents comply 'cause battling her's a hassle. But you, he shrugged faintly. You truly hold it. She'll detest that. Anthony's gut nodded. Thus, no mere mix-up, it swelled to a grander clash, one he sought not. Yet Anthony remained oblivious that Elaine transcended mere obstinacy, she embodied cruelty, halting at naught to retain her clasp on the water. Anthony endured scant delay for Elaine's reprise. 2 days hence, amid assembling his studio in the carport, heel taps echoed on the pavement. He exhaled prior to glancing. There she loomed anew, notepad gripped, mouth a slender slash. "Anthony," she uttered, poised in the threshold as if proprietor, "we must resolve this water quandary ere it spirals." He shelved his tool, cleansing his palms on cloth. "Fine day to you as well, Elaine." "Precisely what's spiraling?" "From my vantage, naught's transpired bar your intrusion into my shelter." Her gaze constricted at intrusion, yet she advanced. "The HOA panel convenes shortly. Absent your mark on the entry packed by then, it might spawn needless strife, no soul desires that." Anthony reclined versus his bench, limbs folded. "Strife, Elaine. I seek no discord. I purchased this abode, lake privileges inclusive. Of the files, it's lawful. Your request equates to surrendering what I procured and compensated." Her timbre sank to a reprimand evoking a superior chiding a novice, "You grasp it not. This transcends files, it's communal harmony. This locale has pulled the water across eras, residents angle there, bathe there, grill by the piers. It's heritage, you can't alter it." Anthony negated with his head. "I'm altering zilch, but henceforth, usage falls to my discretion. Such is asset tenure." For an instant, Elaine's facade fractured, chin rigid, digits gripping the notepad's rim, a spark of vexation in her orbs. She abhorred defiance, utterly. "Tread warily," she murmured, nearly menacingly. "Locals resent newcomers complicating existence." Anthony advanced a pace, not hostile, merely emphatic. "And I resent coercion. If communal discourse appeals, commence with courtesy." She locked eyes long, then huffed nasally. "Very well, proceed your path, for now. But the panel shall opine." She pivoted, striding briskly uphill. Anthony remained, cloth clutched, heart thumping, clashes weren't his norm, yet he refused arm twisting from his due. That twilight, he rang his agent, Jessica Ramirez, a keen, pragmatic guide through escrow. "Jessica, brief query," he noted. "The HOA head insists the water and piers are collective, contra the contract." "Merely verifying my sanity." Jessica chortled curtly. "Sanity intact, I vetted each clause." "You command." "The liquid privileges and piers absolutely, that's why the bargain shown, it grants sway. The HOA never held them, they've mooched eternally. Thus, she's fabricating." "Utterly," Jessica affirmed, "yet she'll likely hound fiercely. HOAs adore probing novices, particularly those seeming pliable." "Hold firm." Post-call, Anthony eased marginally, yet law's favor altered not Elaine's resolve to personalize it. The morrow, while gathering foliage near the boundary, a mature duo, Mark and Susan Harper, halted, beaming courteously yet faltering. "Hello," Susan ventured. "We aim to greet you here, bearing treats." Anthony grinned. "Appreciated, most gracious." Mark fidgeted. You may catch chatter re the water, don't internalize." "Elaine, she craves command, most yield for tranquility." Anthony lifted a brow. "So, capitulate." Susan hastened denial. Nay, merely cautious. She sows discord, and post-enmity decree, it sours." Anthony eyed them keenly, sincerity shone, but uneasy peaks betrayed dread of Elaine's ire. He lauded the treats, yet his unease swelled. That eve, dockside under lunar gleam, waves dancing, Max prone nearby, Anthony murmured, "I shan't yield." He resolved it, yet Elaine persisted, her forthcoming ploy would ensnare the locale, thrusting Anthony center stage, willing or nay. By week's end, buzz circulated, Anthony sensed it outdoors, inquisitive glares from verandas, muted tones silencing at his approach. No delusion, discourse swirled on him, the water, Elaine's assertion. Saturday morn, he opted to thaw, strolling Mac Street ward, he acknowledged passers, some courteous beams, others averted. At the bend, a cluster loitered by. A portable stand where a lady vended pastries for charity. He neared, hailing amiably. "Dawn, I'm Anthony, recent lake arrival." The vendor, Pamela Green, ex-educator with hoary locks and genial beam, replied, "Oh, indeed, we've heard. Greetings, you've claimed a gem locale." "Thanks," Anthony uttered, eased by warmth. Long-held aspiration. Nearby, Bill Kramer folded limbs. "Aspiration for thee, perchance, but tradition for us. Access eternal, youth angle there, clan's picnic. Thus since paternal days." Anthony maintained poise. "I aim not to halt joy, but I acquired the dwelling with water claims, contract bound. I forged no edicts, I adhered." Bill squinted. "Sounds transformative." Elaine warns of severance. Pamela glared. "Bill, cease, not severed yet." To Anthony, folks fret, shifts chafe. He inclined. "Understood, but I resist strong-arming my earnings." Bill grumbled, departing. Pamela sighed. "Ignore, he idolizes Elaine eternally, but views vary." Homebound, Anthony spied a chap clipping turf. The fellow killed the motor, hollered, "Hey, water fellow." Anthony halted. "Aye." The men hastened, mopping perspiration. Randy chewed. Succinctly, Elaine's conceded, HOA her realm. If files affirm your peers, resist her, some tire of her ploys. Anthony sparked hope. Glad not all oppose. Randy smirked. Distant, most fear vocalizing. Defy her, allies emerge. By Sabbath, strain peaked, youth pedaled, but guardians tugged nearer at Anthony's transit, lest proximity brew unrest. One dame hailed, then scanned furtively. That dusk, Pamela arrived pie-laden. Homemade treat, and alert, Elaine's phoning, branding you villain, alleging lockdown threats. Anthony massaged his brow. Falsity, I voiced no such. Pamela placed it railing ward. Known, but views dominate, her seeds blaze swift. Anthony vented. Thus, idle as she alienates all. Pamela eyed pityingly. No bellowing match, steadfastness. Lies versus verity dawns gradual. He thanked, but post-departure, burden crushed fiercer, tenure meant safeguard, not doubt. That night, Max walk waterside, he spied clans dock clustered, mirthful, toasting sweets o'er a petite blaze. Would they embrace his advent, or deem him the invader Elaine sketched? There, Anthony discerned, beyond law, it queried affiliation. Elaine contested not solely contract, but his communal niche. Yet Anthony shunned meek retreat, her thrusts fueled his probe into the HOA's prolonged ruse. By Monday dawn, inquisitiveness solidified to resolve. Whispers or Elaine's partials sufficed not, he craved irrefutables for HOA's advent. Thus, he motored to Pickens County Hall, 30 minutes off, the aged masonry edifice opposite a cafe's blinking marquee. Within, parchment and sheen scents prevailed. He sought records chamber, a hushed nook shelved, machines whirring. Desk-bound, Janet Cole, midlife clerk, specs nose-tipped. She glanced up. Mornin'. Seeking archives. Yes'm, Anthony affirmed. New to Lake Keowee parcel, verify contracts water pier inclusions. Janet quirked a brow, address inputted, keys flying. Minutes on, folder proffered. Voila, evident, boundaries protrude 30 feet aquatic, pier claims sole to parcel holder since 79. Anthony perused, blending solace and pique, solace in rectitude, pique at Elaine's void-fraught crusade. Janet confided, not inaugural query on that parcel, association kin nosed years prior, eyeing suit. Anthony stiffened. Suit on what basis? Not, Janet shrugged. They held no claims ever, but collective's fancy repetition births reality. That pearl adhered through return trek, Elaine hadn't feigned idly. She'd forged annals anew. Home, Anthony arrayed files table-wide, imaged, digitized, docketed, water claims, evidence. If Elaine craved clash, preparedness reigned. That post-meridian, Randy queried visage curious, uncovered aught. Anthony brandished sheaf. Ample, the water claims this parcel's for epochs, HOA controlled zilch, merely postured. Randy whistled lowly. Predictable, Elaine adores sway, but you've pinned her. Anthony doubted, pinned lash desperately. That eve, he essayed tides, dock end where you've angled. Lads, casual, note, this pier's sole now. Today's fine, but henceforth, guidelines apply. You swapped uneasy looks, a lanky one, but Mrs. Porter avowed communal water. Anthony sighed. Erroneous, contract proves. Usage possible, but mine to decree, not hers. Lads conferred, then bundled, rods shouldered, departing. Anthony twinged remorse, not joy spoiling, but laxity fed Elaine's yarn. That night, unknown caller buzzed. Cautious answer, Mr. McAllister. Charles Benton, HOA Veep, we converse. Anthony steeled. Water, presuming. Aye, Elaine relays your sole claim assertion, grave charge. No charge, Charles, actuality. Files here, view welcome. Pause. Hall to Wednesday's session, 7 p.m. clubroom, will adjudicate. Anthony near laughed. Panel rules not sole assets, yet, I'll attend, evidenced. Hung, he weighed the loom, not discord, but duel, Elaine puppeteering, panel jury bound. Pouring libation, lake gazing, lunar undulations, he breathed, beyond peer, its resolve. Yet Anthony ignored Wednesday's blaze would fan phrase past parchments, for Elaine mastered mobs, primed to villainize him publicly. Wednesday dusk hung humid, fraught. Anthony clubroom trod, Westover terminus, max leash yanking. Autos crammed curbs beyond norm for midweek. Convene. Veranda lamps kindled as locals meandered structure ward, muttering, some court-bound eyeing him. Innards wafted Joe and rug tonic, seats rode neat, front long tabled where Elaine judged central, Charles gray-maned beside, specs fidgeting, board fleshed out, sheafs prepped. Anthony front-seated. Quietude as Elaine pen-tapped. Order, she boomed room-wide. Urgent tonight, water entry, peer claims. Newcomer Mr. McAllister voices qualms. Head swiveled Anthony Ward. He rose, dossier clutched. No qualms, realities. I hold water entry, peers, contracted, legally filed. Copies table strewn, timbre even. Elaine eyed, then beamed rehearsed, while Mr. McAllister fancy soul hold, locales deemed shared eternally, lineages reveled unbound, heritage ways. Accord murmur swelled. Anthony inhaled. Heritage yields not to law, behold, boundaries aquatic, peer soul, HOA claimless. Charles forward leaned, peering, authentic seeming, conceited languid. Elaine interjected keen, paper true, perchance, but communal ethos. One dictating angle, bathe, assemble. Crowd voice, nay. Murmurs assented. Anthony warmed inwardly, tone level, no villainy sought, not barring usage, but Elaine decides not for me, she's postured undue proprietorship. Unease stirred, surprises flickered. Rear elder, Frank Delaney, hand up, accurate, I probed ages past, purchase musing, claims homeowners, not associations, handshake all along. Elaine's beam twitched, then forward, Frank, respectfully, recall faulty, board's authority perennial. On what? Anthony pressed. One file, one suit. Absent, void. Voices ascended, Anthony backing. Elaine defending, buzz strife as locals bickered. Charles quiet signaled, cease, unresolvable tonight. Board vets files, legal query, next convene clarity. Elaine mouth-taut, nodded, fair, in interim, civility urged, communal, not clash. Anthony refiled, exiting I felt, whispers trailing. Outward, dense, cricket grassed, he paused, Max bush sniffing, breath calming. Homeward, Pamela overtook, strong showing, poised, evidenced. But Elaine persists, drama fuels her. Anthony inclined. Evident, not equity, control. Pamela pitted smiled. True, thus perilous. Home veranda, water sipped, lunar faint lake stare, he mulled Frank's utterance, Pamela's caveat, Elaine's crowd-swaying smirk via sentiment o'er substantives. Yet if she deemed him enfeebled, error, her act fortified him, soon escalating unforeseen. Post-meet days altered, locale not mere watched Anthony, factions formed. Morning jogs with Max, some hails, others backs turned, chats truncated at passage. No overt ire, but Elaine's barbs clung. Thursday, pale missive mailboxed, HOA crested, breach alert, unsanctioned barrier stuff street visible. Anthony gawked, perplexed, no barrier, no strewn gear. That post meridian, bottom number rung, Charles. Charles, Anthony McAllister, breach barrier, none exists. Awkward lull. Air, filing flub, I'll probe. Anthony jaw set. Flub post meet timely. Charles throat cleared, rectified, farewell. Click. Saturday, fresh pouch, pier breached HOA safeguards, slack slats, scant illumination. Anthony paced pier twice, boards firm, uprights robust, sole scant, Elaine's forbearance. That eve, Randy head-shaking visited, she's targeting, dude, her. Script, outright loss. Bury in penalties till yield. Anthony nasally exhaled. Wrong target, unyielding. Pressure tangible, town market, produce ladies whispered, trouble stirrer Lake Ward. Sabbath chapel, courteous distant dips, no mere novice, branded. One eve, porch sat with check-in Pamela, he queried, why tolerate her? All no falsity. Pamela tea sipped, sighed, terror, Elaine warps regs, minor infractions, bins tardy, turf excess, misery till compliance. Most deem acquiescence simpler than fray. Anthony sky-gazed reclined. Fear, not fealty. Pamela Woeful beamed. Precisely. Succeeding week, scrawled billet door taped, sustain water open, spare collective ruin. And signed, script forceful, paper gouged. Max menaced it, anomaly sensed. Anthony creased, filed with archives, evidence hoarded not. That night, Max water stroll, dock near torches danced, who? 2 youths bolted, footfalls planking, rods glimpsed ere dark vanish. Youths being youths, yet Elaine's public yarn fueled. Mourn, mailbox Elaine animated clustered neighbors, citing him, beam knifed, mourn, Anthony, street spanning. Word, youth dock frights, unneighborly. Anthony neared, calm, intruders, requested exit, not more. Elaine head cocked, behold my caveat, one barring heritage. Locale trust sharing built, now permission for eternal hours. Mutter nods, though Pamela Randy frowned noted. Anthony clear-voiced all heard, no barring, veracity. Elaine avows HOA held water, contra contract, years deceit. Elaine orbs blazed, sufficeth. Anthony folder raised, view files here, no faith needed, truth earned. Silence waited, frank crowd stepped, papers viewed, voracious. Elaine beam wobbled, swift recovered keen, board next week rules, meanwhile, claims mute, Anthony, shame if breaches accrue. Anthony jaw gripped, mute, throng disbanded, humid whispers. Yet Elaine's emboldened ploys heralded Anthony's ally discovery, others primed to advance, conjointly contesting her locale clasp. Monday dusk, porch hatch class tightening, gravel crunch steps, Randy neared, spouse Melissa chute foil plated. Dinner thought, Melissa beamed. Randy shared week's toil. Anthony toolset, considerate, thanks, ascend. Patio tabled, Max undertail wagging. Randy low-voiced forward, your prior Elaine deceit musing lingered, accurate, weary of impunity. Melissa assented, 8 years here, challengers fine to sail, silence terror goal. But you differ, contract backed. Anthony half-beamed, scarce edge when locale deems me lake thief. Hence allies, Melissa insistent. Solo unfeasible, Pamela, frank, we, aligned, organized. Anthony burden lifted, inaugural non-isolation post-arrival. Morrow eve, Pamela abode rally, Anthony found sparse locals lounge seated, Frank armchair teed, Melissa Randy sofa'd, duo Thomas Julia beckoned. Pamela palms clapped, candid, Elaine's unchecked HOA reign too prolonged, Anthony spotlights. No pushback. Perpetual bulldozing. Frank throat cleared, admit past easy yield, but saturation, my bylaws scoured, no water nod, bluff perpetual. Anthony folder splayed coffee ward, contract, behold, my peer claims, not HOA, not Elaine, mine. Cluster perused, Thomas head shook, indisputable, no stance. Julia creased, why feigned authority? Pamela, terror isolates, outsider makes, mass resistance. Impunity nil. Randy forward, scheme. Mirror attends, twist aloud. Eyes Anthony Ward. Unaccustomed helm, yet exigency, scheme plain, verity, disseminate files, historicize, clarify mislead, dark sustained sway. Melissa, retaliation. Anthony gaze held, conjoint stand, single burial feasible, collective not. Quietude, Mac stable shifting soul, Pamela, copies printed, dispersed personal, truth due. Frank glass hoisted, included. Ascents murmured, inaugural surge, hope sparked. Home trek night, Randy backslapped, empowering, solo no more. Anthony beamed, viable odds. Porch Lake gazed, star-stilled depths, Elaine's prior smug recalled, he knew non-yield, doubled fiercer, but now backers stood. Yet Elaine spurned clasp loosening, her ploy thrust to rupture, crush Anthony or unveil her essence. Rupture muggy Friday dusk, Pamela gathering weak post. Anthony Mill concluded, door thunder, Max fury barked, pause hardwood skid. Opened, Elaine, flanked Charles Benton Margaret Lyons guard-like. Elaine tight-beamed, Anthony, saccharine keen cut, peer discourse anew. Anthony limbs crossed, now what? Elaine lettered, ultimatum, peer unsafe communal, absent HOA spec fixes in 30, demolition. Anthony skimmed, ire simmer, unsafe. Flawless, and non-communal, sole asset. Elaine orbs sparkled, flourish files freely, but views count, exclusion sensed, problem makes. Anthony firm step, nay, Elaine, issue your year's locale lie, feigned HOA hold non-existent. Ceases now. Charles uneasy shifted, Margaret thin-voiced, peace-seeking, Mr. McAllister, all irked. Anthony her then Elaine, lies birth no peace, I resist coercion of due. Elaine beam scowled, regretful. Heel pivoted, stormed, duo trailing. Anthony threshold lingered, night weight pressing. Morn, Max dock trod, sight chilled, planks red spray, selfish, dripped. Fists balled, crouched paint-fingered, Max. Whined frustrate sensed. Post-meridian Pamela rang, Frank Randy arrived, vandal stare head shakes. Escalating, Randy grumbled. Beyond finds letters, menace. Pamela arm touched, no scare yield, her desire. Frank low growled, beyond water, one's communal bullying query. Anthony slow nod, thus, fiercer retort. That eve, Pamela's regrouped, Anthony files tabled, she discreet doored mail dispersed. Melissa forward, next convene mass arrival, not soul, Elaine weary imports, silence her thrive, deny it. Thomas table tapped, drown attempt. Anthony steady, persist voiced, poised, evidenced, conjoint, untwistable. Accord, scheme solidified inaugural. Yet Elaine next convene spurned, Sabbath morn, Max walk return, cul-de-sac throng, Elaine central, notepad scepter raised, locals. Crisis, water imperiled, one fancy's seizure, papers o'er era spirit. Desired. Murmur shouts, no. Anthony folder aloft stepped, deceived. Boomed noise cut, contract mine, HOA claimless, Elaine's false feed years. Elaine red-faced whipped, ignore, word twist, division. Pamela crowd pushed, copy raised, voracious, papers perused. Frank Randy flanked nods, Thomas Julia, Melissa joined, gradual unease, Elaine rage versus proofcom swapped. Thickness pre-storm, cul-de-sac clash spark soul, what trailed decided Anthony's Elaine class breach or home swallow. Succeeding Wednesday HOA not routine, neighborhood awaited climax. Autos club lot glutted, grass overflow, seats full, wall standers nervous whisper. Charge denser, line draw known. Anthony arm tucked dossier, non-solo, Pamela Frank Randy Melissa Engs entered flank, quiet potent, surge signaled. Elaine head tabled smooth-eyed keen, pen clipboard tap echo silence. Charles. Margaret uneasy beside. Elaine throat cleared, ongoing water quarrel address, Mr. McAllister ownership claims communal spirit threat. Tonight board rules. Anthony pre-further stood, respectfully, board powerless sole asset decree, not interpretive, lawful. Deed supports tabled anew, steady, proof, sole water peer since 79, settles, surveys affirm, HOA claimless. Elaine's all told falsity. Ripple, next craned paper ward, whispers, Elaine stares. Pamela seat rose copy high, perused, genuine, misled. Frank rose deep boom, County Archives checked ages, Anthony accurate, bluff. Elaine pen slammed, outrage, neighbor turned for era shared water, communal maker. One history rewrite. Anthony glare met, no rewrite, rectify. Inconvenient alters not truth, lie built sway, knowledge do. Margaret seat shifted Charles glance, Charles quiet firm, accurate, files vetted, valid, claimless. Gasps, Elaine crimson flushed, Charles, gravely. Charles specs off interrupted, overreach, if persist, HOA legal peril, retreat. Eruption, cheers, arguments overlap till Pamela hands raised, cease, no factions, veracity. Locale loved, but love no single intimidate. Anthony noise cut, no lockout, peaceful dwell, angle bathe neighbor welcome, but my decree, not Elaine's, boards. Truth respect soul plea. Elaine inaugural shaken, chair straight recover, regret, witness turn. Hollow, neighbors Anthony ward shifted, Pamela frank nods agreement, fear spell fractured. Charles firm forward, closed, board McAllister water pier ownership notes, HOA non-interfere. Elaine pen dropped clatter, mask fracture, rage, incredulity, impotence flashed, papers gathered, abrupt rise stormed void. Left deafening quiet, gradual claps, Pamela, Randy, swelling club fill. Not soul Anthony backing, relief, control. Years snap. Anthony shoulder slacked inaugural post move, room-eyed, prior avoiders now altered viewed, not outsider, stander where others couldn't. Yet Elaine room absent, Anthony new climax not battle win, post, trust rebuild, fear o'er truth fairness demo. Post meet day storm cleared, inaugural walk eye free, street crossers now chat halted, youth drive a be waved, garden tomato basque door gestures word heavier. Elaine vanished, board quit weak post, personal cited, known false, bitter curtain retreat rumor, locale grip free progressed. Charles led HOA transparenter, punishment notices reminder ward, meets concise serene, choke tension eased. Anthony water lingered more, Max sighed, neighbor doc visits occasional. One post meridian, Pamela chair T joined, you transcended asset guard, Lake ripple-eyed, truth recalled, single voice impacts. Anthony light head shook, initial cornered sensation, scant impact. Pamela beamed, ground hold momentary lonely, not noble, but behold, freer folk via non-bend. Q-like, Randy Melissa cooler toting wandered, chair set easy chat, Frank grandson near line cast taut, swift water echo laughs. Anthony grasped purchase quest, not soul peace, affiliation, conflict spite, throughborn oddly. One eve, porch grill, sighted duo youths, prior doc asked, edge hover rods clutched. Anthony waved, proceed, angle, pier tend. Faces brightened, thanks, Mr. McAllister. Board rushed. Anthony watched settle, inner shift, rights hold no exclusion, respect bound limits, mutual respect gain all. Lesson transcended asset files, fear power wanes feed cease, Elaine quiet convinced comfort o'er truth thrived, but conjoint stand second, sway crumbled. Anthony gleamed, right act discomfort. Popularity temporal, but calm steady truthful, recognition dawns. Summer prolonged, lake regathered, not Elaine decreed, Anthony welcomed, shore grills, shallow splash, back whisper neighbors story shared beside. One night, horizon sunk sun orange glow water, Anthony doc sat max footed, Pamela Randy Frank laughed near, voice not whisper air. Affiliation unbestowed, plank built like underdock, first chat recalled, can you seriously believe a single individual possesses a lake? Elaine weapon hurled, yet rights hold no power made, what usage, fair, open, respect, that triumph. Laughter waterborne, Anthony grasped, home defended, neighborhood reshaped, bravest standalone inaugural, others courage find beside. Lesson, life property, labor, values, fear intimidate no right decree, facts truth hold, seers found. Thus, tale resonant. Own phrase firm stand, seeming minor, more lesson vivifying yarns. Subscribe.